Ndewo, Umochukwu. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone wherever you are. This is Nelly's TV. We are here live this afternoon from my end. I welcome you all. As you join this program, may God bless you. May Chukwu Okike guide and protect every one of us. Lest I forget, Happy New Month to everyone. The month of May. Miracles await you. M-A-Y. This is a special month for all of us. A month for more victory, more success, more increase, peace in everything we do. As far as we are doing the right thing. Mana ọ bụrụ na ọ bụghị the right thing ka ị na-eme. Ọ bụrụ na ịkpachaghị anya, Chineke na-eme amara tụziere gị aka. Mana ọ bụrụ na ịkpachara anya na-eme ihe ọjọọ, there is a reward for everything. That is just it. So this month is a month of glory. May God continue to guide and see us through. Ndewo Chukwuma, you are welcome. God bless you. Aderele Ndewo Umuchukwu, you are all welcome. Thank you for joining. We are here together for this gospel. And we continue to march forward. We will continue to move forward. No going back. Anyị apụtago when anyị apụtago. Anyị ekwechirigo. No shaking. Maka na anyị kwụ n'ezigbo foundation. Foundation anyị kwụ gidigbam. Ndị na-akwụghọ n'ezigbo foundation. Ndị kwụ na foundation 40 foundation arụrụ ana eji ụga asị wee bido. Look at them how they are shaking. Na-ata akwa ha in the middle of the market. So but maka na anyị kwụ n'eziokwu nke Chineke dịka Maazị Nnamdi Kanu kwuru ya, the God of truth will continue to guide us, because Biafra, we are building it by the truth of God. America, Donald Trump is reminding America that America was built by God. That is, they trust God. And we also are doing it. Na ngwakwa gị eziokwu, onye ọwụna ị na-eso Chineke nna. There is no how, even though that he said that we will pass through waters, we will not be drowned. We pass through fires, we will not be consumed. The book of Exodus. So, no matter what is coming, as far as God is on your side, victory is yours. So because we are standing on the right side, victory is ours. Victory to go into our promised land, which is our ancestral land, the land of rising sun, the land of Biafra. Ala Chukwu kere gọzie anyị, ndị iro si na ya agaghị ebi. They will continue to fall while we will continue to rise. You cannot close light. You cannot. You gaghị emenwu ya. So because you cannot do it, we will keep shining for the truth. And because we are standing on the truth, that is why the whole world is listening to us. The whole world is paying attention. The whole world is also now talking about Britain, of what they are doing. So we keep propagating the gospel. God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you. Shas Oji, Ndewo, God bless you all. As you have come, our prayer this month is that may God grant all of us good health. Maazị Nnamdi Kanu, ebe ọbụla ị nọ, may Chukwu Okike continue to strengthen you, give you more peace, comfort. In the spirit, I know that you know that your reason of being there is not in vain, because there are people that are still standing in the gap for you. Despite that, those who are supposed to be telling you the truth are not doing the right thing. But mmụọ Chineke nọ gị n'ime na-agwa gị, and that is why obi si wee kaa gị ike, sie gị ike. Be strong, for we are with you. We cannot leave you there. Mazi Simon Ekpa, the same thing with you. Even though the people that you were thinking that they are with you, see how they are disgracing themselves. The God Almighty, who knows that you meant well for Biafra, will sustain you and keep you and bring you out of the hand of your people who Nigeria bought over against you. He said, and we pray for Mazi Ogechukwu Nkiri. May God Almighty crown you with wisdom on the 4th of May, which is the day anyị ga-anụkwa ụda Biafra n'ụzọ dị iche. Another big blow is going to hit Nigeria. This week, Anaba, 4th of May. Anything in May, that period, sacrifice it to listen. May God grant you wisdom that you will use to be entering any office. And the Shukunna, the God that we serve, will continue to lead you, that any door you knock, Guinea Elias and Amand, oh God, and the lobbies, any door no kuraka, Amandaberi, any door no kuraka, God Almighty will open the door for you people, and they will give ear to what you people are saying for the sake of our freedom and for the sake of those who are detained illegally. They will be released. Nigeria is in shambles. Mmeri bụ nke anyị. Soludo ga-agba ọsọ. Ọkwa all these politicians ọsọ ka ha ga-agba. Gbana n'ugwu Awụsa gaa biri with the Janjaweeds, maybe n'ebe ahụ ka ha si wee may originate. Okay, so before we go further, let us sample our okay, let me see. Right. Oh, bye. No. Okay. Let me see. Who go stand for what is right?
Oh, stand for love, stand for life. Be the answer in this time. You can have to wipe their tears. You can calm their fears. Give a hand, don't turn away. Be the light in darkest day. Every little you provide keeps us.
Groups and also by
millions roaming, nowhere to stay. No clean water, no food today. Kidnapped voices crying in chains. Silent echoes filled with pain. 19,000 churches gone, but faith still rising. Holding on. In the ashes, hope remains.
Okay. So let us listen a bit of this.
Namely,
before we continue with other things, let's listen before we go further. All right. We know we have heard it, but we just want to start from here and then we move.
Well, thank you very much. Good afternoon. Tony, thank you for that word of prayer. I needed that. I can't speak for anyone else, but I needed that today. Thank you for inviting me to speak with you today. I want to thank the International Committee on Nigeria and the Endowment for Middle East Truth.
Happy New Month to everyone.
Today. The more we work together, the more we gather like this, the more we shine a light on the atrocities happening in Nigeria.
The more we gather like this, the more we throw light on the atrocities that is happening in Nigeria. If you don't know, it is the word that is speaking. Because whether they like it or they don't like it, America will drag Europe because they know that UN has failed. So they will keep, as they gather together, they will keep throwing the light on the atrocities that is happening in Nigeria. And that is how Nigeria is sinking day by day.
The closer we get to resolution. In the Gospel of John, Jesus tells us, if they persecute me, they will persecute you also.
Mm-hmm.
As Christians, we know that persecution is part of our walk with the Lord. Since the church's founding, Christians around the world have been captured, beaten, and even killed for their faith.
Mm.
I want to begin by taking us back a few weeks to March 29th. Palm Sunday services were held around the world, ushering in the most holy and somber week Christians observe. Believers were united, waving palm leaves and branches, reflecting on when Christ rode into Jerusalem before his betrayal and crucifixion. But in north-central Nigeria, a very different Palm Sunday unfolded. On that single day, 53 Nigerians were murdered in 3 separate killing sprees.
On the feast of the day that people supposed to celebrate, more than 53 were murdered in cold-blooded.
And the attackers were all targeting the same thing: Christians. Families were broken in a matter of minutes. Lives were stolen and cut short. And Christians in Nigeria yet again mourned another tragedy. This attack, both tragic and vile, is not unlike the persecution Christians in Nigeria have faced day after day, week after week, year after year. Even last year, more than 240 Christians were slaughtered in Nigeria during the season of Lent and Easter. Hundreds of stories like this have been documented, and more than 52,000 Christian Nigerians. 52,000.
More than 52,000 Christian Nigerians have been dealt with these blood-sucking demons.
Been murdered since 2009.
Since 2009 have been
There
murdered.
is no place on the planet where more Christians are being killed than Nigeria.
Mm.
And these are not isolated incidents, they are part of a pattern. A pattern of targeted violence, systematic intimidation,
Systematic intimidation, a targeted, planned evil. But they will come and be telling you that it's climate change. It is headers attack.
and a failure, both within Nigeria and across the international community, to condemn and to take meaningful action against these crimes.
They cannot.
Boko Haram and other Islamist groups have waged a ruthless insurgency marked by unspeakable brutality. They have burned churches to the ground, abducted and raped women and children, and executed Christians simply for refusing to renounce their faith. Many years ago, during the Obama administration, some of y'all will remember Miriam Ibrahim. Miriam was imprisoned in Sudan. She was imprisoned and she was sentenced to receive 100 lashes and then to hang by the neck until dead.
Excuse me.
For the crime of being a Christian.
Sorry, somebody said that my screen is blackout. Is it true? Is nothing showing in the screen? Somebody said that the screen is blackout. Is it true? Please, somebody should respond. Let me know now. Okay, thank you. Why is the person saying that my screen is blackout? Okay, thank you. So it is okay. All right. God bless you all. Yeah, we'll move. Okay, so I should pay attention to the word on the pulpit. All right. Let's go.
Miriam had her toddler son, Martin, in the prison cell with her. And she was pregnant, and they delayed the sentence till she gave birth to her infant daughter, Maya, whom she delivered while she was in leg irons. Now, I spoke about Miriam Ibrahim multiple times on the Senate floor, calling for her release, trying to shine a light. I will tell you, I begged President Obama to say her name. Samantha Power, the UN ambassador, Samantha Power, to her credit, did say her name. She spoke up for Miriam. And I said, why will Obama not do this? I don't understand. But even though he was silent, others around the globe were not. And so much light and attention was focused on Miriam.
Even though Obama was silenced, others around the globe will not. People like them. Keep on now.
And released her. And I actually had the opportunity, Tony brought her to D.C. I had the opportunity to meet her. I'd never met her. Little bitty woman. Can't weigh more than 95 pounds. And a quiet woman. And I remember asking her when I met her. Look, she was told, we will torture and murder you unless you renounce Jesus. Now, as Christians, we all hope we know what we would do in that circumstance. But I've never faced that. I've never looked in the eyes of my captor who would torture and murder me or murder my children. And I asked her, I said, Miriam, how did you not lose hope? How did you not despair sitting in that prison cell with your babies? And she looked at me with a peace that I still remember. And she simply said to me, Jesus was with me.
Please click the like button. Sorry.
That was powerful.
Let me come.
When Miriam went through it, and it is powerful.
Sorry, let me get what. You say I should Pay attention on the word written on the pulpit. Is it the one? Okay. That is it. Is it this EMENT? EMNT? Is it the word that you are referring to? Please help me. I don't really understand the word. The people that organize it, I don't know. Okay, so help me out. Adrele, God bless you. Okay, let's continue.
Now in Nigeria, when Christians are going through it week after week after week.
Amen.
Religious persecution has come into the spotlight over the past years. But for too long, the stories of communities being destroyed have not made national or international headlines. More than 20,000 churches and Christian schools and institutions burned to the ground. Systematic.
This is what Nigeria don't want to hear. This is what the Islamic jihadist country under Tinubu on contract for the Islamization of Nigeria don't want. So keep telling them BRGIE is taking Biafra struggle to a high speed, with a high speed on the American US table. Yes, they are discussing it seriously.
As Christians,
credit to us,
and as
and we
human
keep
beings,
winning.
We have an obligation to act. By the way, yesterday at the hearing that you referenced,
okay,
Senator Cory Booker said, well, we should be concerned about the Christians being killed in Nigeria, but what about the Muslims? Why are you not concerned about them? And you know what I said? Of course I'm concerned about the Muslims. And yes, Boko Haram and the jihadists murder Muslims as well. And that is wrong and evil. But what they're doing to Christians is systematic persecution. They are deliberately singling out and persecuting Christians. And I did point out
what he said now, the target is for Christians. The target is mainly for Christians, but is the unfortunate Muslims fall victims to them. Maybe if you want to oppose what they are doing, okay? Because when they brought weapon from Turkey, they were instructed that this is not for Muslims. They were instructed that this is not for Muslims, that it is for the what did they call them? RNA, okay? They are for Christians. So the instruction was specifically that this is not for Muslims. So any Muslim that they died is unfortunate victim. Is unfortunate victim. Maybe the person refused to buy their agenda at that particular time. So that is the truth. All right? For them that are saying they kill Muslim, they kill, so it is not a Christian genocide. I see, big lie. The target is for Islamization. Christians are the target. And we heard it that even McArnold said it, that the Biafrans are mostly, in fact, 98% are Christians. If not 99, let me say 98, because the other two are other religions, traditionalists, and the other ones. Okay, so that is the target against we people, against Biafrans. That is the target, to soak their Quran in the Atlantic Ocean, right?
I said for years, I have also been calling out communist China for imprisoning over 1 million Muslim Uyghurs in concentration camps. While the Biden administration continued to funnel millions of dollars to communist China that kept those concentration camps going. So let's be clear, as Christians and human beings, we have an obligation to speak out against murder and torture and slavery and atrocity wherever it might be found. But when Christians are being systematically persecuted, anyone who remains silent is complicit. Last year, I introduced the Nigeria Religious Freedom Accountability Act to protect Christians along with other religious minorities facing persecution in Nigeria by holding accountable Nigerian officials who facilitate Islamist jihadist violence and the imposition of blasphemy and Sharia law. And understand, the government is actively complicit in enforcing blasphemy and Sharia law as tools to target and persecute the Christians. Government leaders like to say these are rogue terrorists doing this, not us. But the government's hands are not clean.
The government is saying it is the terrorists. It's not the government, but the government hand is not clean. The government is the sole architect of the problem. Matawale, the incumbent governor, is accusing I have the video here. If there will be time, we will play it. He accuses Matawale that if he were Matawale, he would have resigned from being the assistant minister of defense. For being the assistant minister of defense, because when he was a governor, he kept Boko Haram in the government house and was feeding them, paying them. Could you imagine such? And he is the assistant minister of defense. What a joke! What a joke! So the people that are in charge of Nigeria is Matawale, is what do you call it? Shekumi, the vice president. And who again? Oh God, I will remember. Let's continue. So their hand is not clean. We cannot, this is the Boko Haram. And what are you doing as a government? What are you doing as a president? What are you doing as the chief army staff, as the minister of defense, as a police IG, as a what do you call it? Air Force, and so on and so forth. The video I played yesterday is asking, everybody is afraid. So who is in charge of Nigeria? It is the jihadists.
In many instances, they are actively enforcing the laws used for persecution. In other instances, they're simply looking the other way. This legislation will impose targeted sanctions on Nigerian officials responsible for facilitating violence against Christians. Now, I'm very pleased, following my urging, that President Trump followed through and designated Nigeria as a country of particular concern. That was a very important decision the president made. And as awareness of the persecution has grown, we can say this is a step in the right direction, but there is more that can and should be done.
Okay. Thank you, my dear. So, aderele unu dịkwa too much ụmụ Biafra. Honestly, Biafra nwekwere mmadụ na the way unu ji achọpụta ihe. I saw a video where a young Igbo-speaking Biafra modeled aircraft. That was what this man from Okigwe, from Imo State, what I have forgotten his name. The first time he made a car, Nigeria frustrated him with Britain, because they don't want anything good to come from us. Brain ndị Biafra na-achị ọkụ, hapụkwa na ndị Osho bịara na-eme ya dị kasị na ya ma ihe anyị na-eme. Brain unu na-achị ọkụ. That young guy, ya wụrụ na onye dịka US or any other European country, that guy is a resource. I'm telling you. But what will they do? I will look for that video. I wanted to bring it up, but I'm safe. Thank you. So what you're saying that this is emet, that this is a Hebrew language translated in English. So to tell you that Israel is still intact to see that Biafra is actualized, because they know that we are one. Okay? Let's go.
Of faith, as advocates for human dignity, we are called to something higher. We're called to speak. We're called to act. We're called to pray. Thank you for reminding us of that.
Please like and share, like and
We're
share.
called to stand in solidarity with our brothers and sisters who cannot safely stand for themselves. We need to continue shining a light on these atrocities for justice and for an end to persecution, for peace. Forums like this are critical to our shared mission of ending Christian persecution in Nigeria. So I want to thank all of you again. This attention, this light is powerful. Thank you for your work. Thank you for your advocacy. Thank you for standing up for those united to us in faith. I want to leave you with a verse of encouragement from the book of 2 Corinthians. We are hard pressed on every side, but not crushed. Perplexed, but not in despair. Persecuted, but not abandoned. Struck down, but not destroyed. We always carry around in our body the death of Jesus, so that the life of Jesus may also be revealed in our body. For we who are alive are always being given over to death for Jesus' sake, so that his life may also be revealed in our mortal body. So then, death is at work in us, but life is at work in you.
Okay?
I look forward to continuing this fight alongside each and every one of you.
I look forward to continuing in this fight, and I look forward for having all of you in support that the citizens of that part of the world should be free from jihadism, that we Biafrans will have dignity and live like human beings, because we cannot be slaves in our own land. Emenike, thank you. You refresh. Thank you. God bless you. I'm not digging myself. Okay? So that is the truth. And you can never see Nigerian pastors speak vehemently like this. Only few. What they do is to build mega churches.
And may justice prevail.
We're going to like this a lot.
BRGIE is doing the needful. We told you that as America stands up, others will be following. Others will be following. That is the truth. So, okay.
Wow. So I am honored and lucky to be able to introduce my friend, Pastor Dumasani Washington, who is the founder and CEO of the Institute for Black Solidarity with Israel, IBSI. Before that, he was the outreach director of the over 10 million member Christians United for Israel. Dumasani is a pastor and an author. I love his books. You would be very, very lucky if you ever got a chance to hear this man preach. Slaughter his.
Okay, let's move forward. Okay.
I am
grateful to be here this afternoon, along with my friends and my colleagues. And I'll be brief. Pastors and rabbis are long-winded. I'll attempt not to do that. Long before I started the Institute for Black Solidarity with Israel, which has been 13 years now, as a young pastor in Stockton, California, our church would hold persecuted church conferences. So I was first exposed to the issue of the universality of the persecution of the church.
Okay.
Christians while I was in college in the 1980s. I'd never heard of it before. Grew up in church, was a Baptist as well. Became a preacher at a young age, but had never heard of anything doing with the church or Christians outside of the borders of the United States of America until I was in college. And oddly enough, it wasn't Africa. It was a friend of mine who had done a missions trip in Europe who came back to tell me what he had experienced. It was later on in the 90s, before the internet was a thing, that I somehow got exposed to what was happening in Sudan, and later on heard about the work of my dear friend Charles. Began to write letters to my representatives in California, and we would do persecuted church conferences, as I said, as a young pastor. And of the many things that I found in doing the work were the parallels between what our brothers and sisters, particularly in Africa, were going through, and much of what would happen here earlier in history where the African American community was concerned. You see, the fight for civil rights, it wasn't what it was called in an organic way. It was just a fight for dignity, a fight for access. Whether you're talking about the beginning, seriously, and the head of Syria there, al-Sharaa, is very aware of what ISIS is doing in Africa. And our government is aware. ISWAP is an acronym, and said, not only is Nigeria the largest population, in check my offering and everything. Here now, we stand at a crossroads, because it has already been said, not only is Nigeria the largest population and the largest economy in Africa, but at the same time, the terrorists are throughout. The Houthis are based in Yemen, yet they're in southern and western Africa. ISWAP is an acronym, Islamic State West African Province. Their headquarters is Syria, not West Africa. And our government is aware.
The headquarters was in Syria, now in Africa. So they are moving. When they capture this place, they will now move to another place. So that's why we are calling on the world that this is not just about Nigeria. They want to take over the world. That is their agenda. They took over Egypt. They took over Turkey. They took over Syria. They took over Iran. Okay? That is how they are digressing. And the world is keeping silent. They are now in Europe. Europe is dallying with them. Dallying with them. That is it. They even have the guts to try to attack the prime minister of, was it Australia or so? Yes. Because they are pampering them. UK is gone. They are busy trying to stop Biafrans. Islam is taking over their land. When you pursue shadow, you will lose focus and lose your treasure. That is why Biafrans should be focused, because our freedom is number one. Thank you.
These things are not being taken seriously. And the head of Syria there, al-Sharaa, is very aware of what ISIS is doing in West Africa. These are the dots that are connected, that are affecting everything that's happening. We must take our opportunity as the citizens of the most powerful nation in the world and hold whatever administration accountable, Republican or Democrat, to make sure that the blood is not on our hands. Thank you.
Okay, very brief one. And the message is well passed, very well spoken. Okay,
Wonderful.
Nigeria. Biafra Republic government, ndewonu, kudos.
It's my very deep honor now to be able to introduce to you Professor Walid Faris, who is a native of Beirut and has become, for 3 decades now, one of America's foremost experts on terrorism in the Middle East. Among his 15 books are Iran, the Imperialist Republic and U.S. Policy, Future Jihad, Terrorist Strategies Against America, The War of Ideas, Jihadism Against Democracy, The Confrontation, Winning the War Against Future Jihad, and others, and many other books. Professor Faris served as an analyst for Fox News, and he's now at Newsmax. He has advised the U.S. Congress, the European Parliament, the United Nations Security Council. They didn't listen to him. He served as foreign policy advisor to presidential candidates Mitt Romney and Donald Trump, who probably did listen to him. Walid.
So before they continue, because the Europeans, sometimes because of their policy or politics, they don't know the danger that is ahead. This same ICC under Islam, bin Laden, Osama bin Laden, struck America, hit America, the worst ever that happened to America, the World Trade Center. But Biden and Obama came and ignored it, left America porous. That made them to think that they have captured America, and so they can do any other thing they would do in other parts of the world. That was why they used Obama to sponsor Boko Haram in Nigeria. Obama was the one that was involved. Islamic agenda, Islamic jihadists used Obama to establish Boko Haram in Nigeria under the watch of because of what do you call him, the late Muhammadu Buhari, because he wants to hand over Nigeria to Islam.
Thank you very much, Dr. Charles. It's a pleasure and honor to be again in a forum on Africa, but specifically today on Nigeria.
Okay.
I would like to thank David and the amazing work of education.
Today, specifically on Nigeria, BRGIE kudos. Kudos to BRGIE, Biafra government in exile, under the leadership of Mazi Ogechukwu Nkere, under the lobbyist team of Amanda Berry and the Mazi Elias. Chukwu na June wekwara ngwa ọrụ, and everyone. May God continue to guide you people. Nigeria is on the table.
Of Emmet, I would like to thank you, obviously, as the engineer of this movement and the international coalition. My dear friend of 28 years, and my colleague and ally, Dr. Charles Jacobs, with whom I've started to work in America on persecutions in Africa and on jihadism. And Professor, also thank you for being here. I'm going to wisely use the few minutes I have to do 2 things. Number one, to tell you about my own little quick journey. Why am I here now? Where I was coming from. To understand how Nigeria's events that are happening right now, especially the massacre and the ethnic cleansing of...
Good, that is a good word. And the ethnic cleansing. That is what Obadiah Melafia was telling them, that led to his spying. Nigeria jihadist extremists spied him because he spoke the truth. Ethnic cleansing. Even Danjuma said it. Danjuma said, he said, defend yourself. Nigerians, defend yourself. That this is an ethnic cleansing, is a calculated attempt to evict, to extinct the indigenous of the land.
communities, including the Christian community, but not just the Christian community. Speakers have already spoken about the fact that
Please share and
though
like,
there
share
is a
and like.
persecution and an ethnic cleansing of specific Christian communities, Muslim communities as well who are anti-jihadists, who are neutral to jihadists, have been also dealt with violence by the jihadists in general terms. My journey started, and you may find it a little bit surprising, as a young kid in Lebanon, Beirut, Lebanon, but I was interested in politics early on in my life, and my older brother helped me as well. One day in the late 60s,
so he has an experience from
he
Lebanon.
showed me newspapers and pictures of massacres taking place in Nigeria.
Okay.
We were always overwhelmed by the Arab-Israeli conflict. That's the only conflict that exists in the world. Then wait a minute, why were there up to, and you could correct me, 1 million Christians in Nigeria killed in the 60s? And I was a kid and wanted to know more about it. So I tried to focus on the matter.
Even at the airport, they will ask you, where do you come from? You say, I'm an Igbo. What faith? You say, a Christian. They will buy you, even at the airport. And the government never did anything because that was what they came to do. Trump will tell you, why does these people hate us? That is the problem.
Out of my college, I published my first book in Arabic, so it was not well read in America. And I published a photo, a picture of Nigerian persecution in Nigeria. And that was my first writing about the matter. It was later translated into French. Copies are in Congress, so on and so forth. Then I left Beirut. Why did I leave Beirut in 1990? Precisely because of the same reason. The invasion of the free enclave of the Christians in Lebanon.
Okay.
At the hands of a multitude of jihadist regimes and organizations and etc. That was the shock that forced me to leave, not just to go seek for a job. I didn't need a job. I had a great job. I was a lawyer and successful one. But for the purpose of educating others, for the purpose of teaching. I actually had a career of 20 years teaching in colleges here. And in every course on the region, Nigeria had a place. Africa had a place. But after 9/11, I started to move and shift my interest from persecution and etc. to try to know who's behind this.
Okay.
It's not happening by itself.
Right.
It's not a digestion issue. There is a worldwide movement, which we've baptized. I don't like the term for the jihadism. This is when I started to meet with friends like Charles and others, and we attended conferences. And then we started to develop concepts like this one, meaning speak up, tell the American public. And why the American public? Well, it's easy, because America is the biggest country in power and ability. It intervenes, it helps. Or if it has different type of elites, it won't help. Like a speech that was given in Cairo in 2009, where then our president, and I'm not partisan as well, I am registered as an independent, to satisfy what the Muslim Brotherhood wanted from the United States. And there were 8 years of this, of support to the movement of the Brotherhood, to the Islamic regime in Iran. We went here, before we look at Nigeria or Lebanon or Syria or Yemen, we went through 8 years of actually diverting our attention from these persecutions. That's why many among you and NGOs said, why is it that the American public doesn't know? Because there was a policy. There was a policy of partnership with the Brotherhood, with the Khomeinists, and etc. That is something. It's not
it was a policy to partner with the Brotherhood, to give the word to anti-Christ Islamic agenda. Chai.
On the left,
this is an exposition.
On the far right, as we see right now, people who consider jihadism,
and who was that?
Obama. As people who are doing yoga or something like that. So I was very honored in the 90s when I met Charles to have also had the experience of giving briefings in Congress and testifying to Congress. And who was the first congressman I testified to about the matter? He's sitting here, Congressman Wolf. who was the second one I testified to, Congressman Smith. So I had been able to do as much as I could and interact with these members who are the key players in making sure that the American public is educated and making sure that the administrations are doing the right thing. After 9/11, we worked with Emmett and other sister organizations, and we reached a point where focusing on the jihadist movement gave us a lot of explanation, not just about what is happening, what we should do about it. The most important briefing I gave to AFRICOM, I used to brief significantly our agencies or many national security agencies, and I pushed on the issue of Nigeria and also the other parts of Africa. And I brought a map with me to that meeting. I think it was about 2010, 2011. And there were all the generals and the analysts. And I showed them on the screen. This is the map of Africa, and every green dot is a location of a jihadist movement moving south. Because most of the jihadists, the Salafists, they came from Egypt, Sudan, and they started to move to Central Africa, and now they are almost in South Africa. I brought that, and then they realized, some of them criticized me, it's about, economy, about education, about psychology, the whole things that you hear all the time, as if there is no one connecting mode to all these forces coming down, not just into Africa, but also into Asia and Central Asia as well. Years later, I did another conference with the agencies, and I told them, in 2010 or 9, I showed you a map. Can you show it? They showed it. And then show the next map. That's 8 years after. The green has gone all the way down, including in Nigeria. We used to hear, you're the expert. We used to hear that Nigeria has a Boko Haram problem in the northeast, between Kano and those places. That's containable. And then we got the other side as well, northwest, where the Al-Qaeda for the Sahel, so on and so forth. And then slowly but surely, we saw these jihadists committing all these problems in the plateau. And then suddenly now we hear about who said Yoruba and Biafra. So that is not a matter of simple police activity.
Suddenly, you're hearing about Yoruba and Biafra.
Nigeria, so we can moderate them. This is a game. This is a strategy.
Biafra is mentioned everywhere. We are moving. This is what nobody has ever done. So, and it cannot be quenched. As the ahead.
The jihadists, they have headquarters. Behind them, you have the Muslim Brotherhood, and then you have the arms, Al-Qaeda, and all the jihadist groups. I teach that course. So now we have 2 candidates. I briefed the first candidate in 2012, Mitt Romney. There was a file. It was good. He lost. Well, we can't do much about it. But then the one that started to change things, I was the first appointed foreign policy advisor to our president now, but I was in 2015 and 16. And there was a file called Nigeria. And it has been pushed. And thanks also to members of Congress. So coming to now, what is to be done? Because that's what politicians and leaders need to know. Number one, it's talking about it. And the higher level, the better. Because the American public is impacted by what the leaders are saying. I met with many Americans and many Africans and many African Americans. And they told me that everything started to change when President Trump spoke about it. He's quick. It's not long speeches, a tweet. And he spoke about it. So people now have a greater interest. Number two, inside Nigeria, people start to have some hope. I know they tweet at my tweet when I say, well, we need to do this, we need to intervene here, and that, how long are we going to wait? All minorities or all communities under jihadist threat, they have a problem, which is time. That's the problem, and we understand that. But at this point in time, the recommendations that I would think about is, number one, speaking about it. Number two, as some among you have spoken, including our good former members of Congress, legislate about it. Because once you legislate, the issue goes higher and higher. And then last point, we need to make sure that every map in front of us has a strategy to respond to it. Let me explain it in less than a minute. So in the Northeast, we have those extreme jihadists who have a strategy, who have connections to ISIS. There need to be military action there. And if the government doesn't intervene, the government of Nigeria, which is accused by some among you and many among us, of being complicit or not helping or etc., there need to be actions. And if actions doesn't come, then we need to have an action. We need to have an international coalition to go in and today.
We need to have an international coalition. If there is no action, if it is for Nigeria, there will be no action. So that international coalition is very, very needed. BRGIE, keep pushing.
And when we move to the southern parts of Nigeria, each community has a vision. Each community may have a future in mind. But what needs to be done is all communities at the same time have one goal, which is to defeat the jihadists, and the American people should be behind them. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Good one. Okay.
Military training. We also recommend that the administration ties foreign assistance that we give as a country, as well as bilateral policies on trade, arms purchases, and visa reciprocation to benchmarks on religious freedom improvement. These are very important. Finally, we recommend that Congress uses its oversight role to monitor the effectiveness of this foreign assistance through a government accountability office, so that we are confident that the money is well spent and truly helps religious communities in Nigeria. Yusuf realized that the comprehensive and meaningful success in stopping violence against religious communities across a country the size of Nigeria will take time, significant resources, and unfortunately will likely involve the sacrifice of some lives. Stopping this violence must also include government reform, political will, and continuous open and honest dialogue between not only the religious communities, but also between the people of Nigeria and their democratically elected representatives. So we need a whole of global approach, in fact, to address the problem in Nigeria. So thank you.
Global approach is needed. It's needed to deal with what is happening in Nigeria. Human beings are no more treated like human beings. There's a video I will bring here. I don't know if YouTube will permit us. It is very, very painful. So the whole world, they are calling on the whole world. No more Biafrans. So the whole world, they are now calling that global attention should be drawn to see that Biafrans are free, to see that Christians are free. But what does Christians in Nigeria do? What does the people of Nigeria do? They attack the people that are fighting for them to live, because maybe it has not happened to them.
So much again for the opportunity to share these recommendations.
So that Sudan is a proxy war. So, by the way, is Nigeria. And what we're not looking at, as one of my Nigerian friends put it, when, and I'm going to quote her, when are you white people going to come to grips with the fact that Nigeria is a Yugoslavia?
Okay.
That you don't recognize the ethnic tensions that were created when the British and the French drew lines on a map. And I would say in the British context, they drew lines on a map specifically with respect to Muslim-Christian tensions. Because we're not reading the history. And so whenever a government bureaucrat tells me, and believe me, I was one,
but whenever one tells me we are aware, that's when you want to stand up and walk out of the office. You say, for God's sake, we pay you to be aware. We pay you to be aware. And so the fact of the matter is that we're not aware. And the reason we're not aware is that we focus too much, and this is going to sound a little bit like the skunk at the garden party, but we focus too much on the victims.
Yes, so we are
on
live.
the people who are spending the money and making the policy. That's where the focus should be.
It is
That's
live.
where the
It is
heat
live,
should
my
be,
dear.
and it starts here. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow. Yuval David is an Emmy
Ekvalo
Award-winning
is live.
journalist and
You are
international
welcome.
news
Thank you
commentator
for joining.
specializing in
Ekvalo,
U.S.,
you are
Israeli, and
welcome.
Middle Eastern
It's
affairs
live.
with a special focus
Live, Nwachukwu Nwa
on topics
Biafra.
pertaining to Jewish Zionist human rights
Okay.
and battles against anti-Semitism and Islamic terror. A political advisor and strategic communications expert, he advocates for
alive.
democratic values, civil rights, and the fight
Please
against
like and
extremism.
share.
He's a fellow at the Middle East Forum, a great organization, and a consultant to government and nonprofit organizations. Yuval.
Good afternoon. It's an absolute honor to be here amongst great leaders, people who've inspired me to push harder, to be louder, and to take greater action, whether people like it or not. Also, the policymakers, the advocates who are here, who understand that human rights are not abstract ideals, they are lived realities, and for far too many, those lived realities are under siege. I'm most honored to stand here in front of Mercy, who proves what leadership is, who proves what happens when you don't live as a victim, but you live as a resilient, determined survivor, who takes what happened to you and drives forward into leadership, to inspire other victims to live beautifully, to live openly when you can, and to force other people who are not taking action to take greater action. You are one of the greatest heroes in this room, and I'm honored to speak in front of you. Today's discussion is not about some distant crisis. There are Nigerians in this room who understand that that crisis is at home. But this isn't a distant crisis to one land. It is about a present and escalating crisis that is spreading across the world, across Nigeria. Islamist and jihadist terror groups are waging a campaign of brutality, of systematic, targeted relentlessness. This is not random violence. This is ideological warfare.
It is a systematic ideological warfare, a targeted attack for ethnic cleansing. The world is speaking. No more that they say, who is Nnamdi Kanu? He's causing problems. He's inciting. Hey, he's inciting. The world is talking because they want everybody to keep quiet so that they will carry their evil agenda.
Ideological warfare is happening here in the United States. We have had terrorist incidents that happened in the United States, and somehow all of these Americans are not paying attention to them. One of which that shocked me was before the Super Bowl a couple years ago, there was an ISIS terrorist who drove a truck across Bourbon Street in New Orleans, but because the NFL was having a Super Bowl that week, people quieted it down to not talk about it. There is this willful ignorance that is happening, and we cannot be afraid to address who is perpetrating it.
Okay.
But now we speak about Nigeria, finally. To speak about Nigeria on Capitol Hill, because the victims overwhelmingly are Christians and other vulnerable communities. For years, I partnered with governmental and non-governmental agencies in the United States and Israel and internationally to help women and LGBTQ people. That's how I was introduced to Nigeria, when we tried to help women and LGBT people flee severe oppression, flee from sex slavery, or let's use the harsher word, rape. to flee for their lives. And yet there are so many other people who are in need of help. And I thought, wow, now that it's happening to the Christian community and people are speaking out about what is happening to Christians in Nigeria, maybe the Christians around the world will rise up. I'm shocked. As a Jew, as a Jewish activist, when I rise up whenever a Jew is being persecuted anywhere in the world, why am I not seeing more Christians rising up? There are 2.4 billion Christians in the world.
When Jews are persecuted, you see fellow Jews standing up to speak against it. But why is Christians in Nigeria keeping adamant, playing calm over an incident which themselves are preaching on the pulpit? Turkey was a Christian country. Egypt was a Christian country. Where is this country again? They are preaching it. Now it is happening before them and their mouth is closed. Why? Why?
If every one of those 2.4 billion Christians would rise up in support of your own Christian sisters and brothers, this would not be a continuing problem. The facts are stark. Churches are being burned during worship services in Nigeria. Entire Christian villages are erased overnight. Women and girls are abducted, raped, and forced into sex slavery. Children are kidnapped and indoctrinated into Islamist extremist militias. Clergy are executed in front of their congregations for refusing to renounce their faith. The violence is not only brutal, it is strategic, and it is designed to do exactly what Islamism and jihadism aim to do: to terrorize, to displace, and to erase. In region after region, this pattern is consistent. Christian communities are driven from ancestral lands. Farmlands are seized, livelihoods destroyed, entire populations are displaced. Survivors are forced to flee or face death.
Survivors are forced to flee, just like the program I did yesterday, that 30 kings of Yoruba land, 30 kings from Kwara State has flee their palace, leaving their place vulnerable. And what is the next target? These people will come and take place. And my question is, as they flee, where are they going? Where is their land now? Biafra can never be left to be porous like that. Please, everybody should come together. Igbo Biafra and non-Igbo Biafrans should be strong to come together. Because of what metu imi o metu onu. Ishekwa no terega aka, it is close to you. Your leg, your hand can touch your leg, and your leg, your hand can touch your back. So you are not far. We have to stop criticism and face the reality by making sure that we support the government and support our Biafran liberation soldiers to guard our territory, so that we will not feel like the Yorubas and the Middle Belters.
These are torn apart. Men are killed. Women are enslaved. Children are indoctrinated. Forced conversions are carried out under threat of violence or death. This is not a random chaos. This is targeted eradication. And when communities are wiped out, when churches are reduced to ash, when generations are erased, that is not just violence. That is dismantling a civilization. So wake up, because Judeo-Christian civilization of democracy, is being dismantled in front of our eyes. Those of us who came to this room, those of us who take action and are considered brave or courageous, which is something I hate when somebody says, "Thank you, Yuval, for what you do. You're so brave." I don't want to be thanked. I say, don't thank me. Join us in action. But there's a deeper failure here, and it's not one of policy, but it's one of moral clarity. In the West, there is no shortage of voices who are so eager to protest, to post on social media, or to perform outrage. Because when it comes to genocides, to real genocides, not the made-up ones, real human rights atrocities, we're facing silence. Selective outrage has become some sort of social currency. Social media hashtag activism has replaced actual advocacy. And too many self-appointed activists and advocates follow trends on social media instead of truth. Why are they following somebody who only posts on social media, who has 2 million followers, instead of following Mercy in every step that she takes? So there's a difference between standing for justice and performing for attention, because the cost of that confusion is measured in human lives. And even more troubling is this: there are those in the West who benefit from the freedoms of democracy, ability to protest against government, ability to wear whatever clothes we want or love whomever we want. And then those same people are supporting the regimes and the movements that would strip those very rights away. It's why I am no longer a Democrat. It is why I'm no longer progressive, and it's why I'm no longer woke. But my values never changed. Silence is not neutrality. Silence is complicity. Because there is a cancer that has been spreading and we've been aware of it.
Silence is not neutrality. It is a complicit. You keep silent, you are compromising. You have just compromised because your silence will create more danger. Okay? You keep silent. Onye who will say it? Did they send Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Who sent him? Onye anoneba na-ekwudi okwu. What is she talking? Trash. It is the silence that the word kept that gave these people the upper hand for what they are doing now. But God on our side, we are victorious.
And those of you who know about cancer understand that a cancer untreated spreads. We cannot be afraid to use specific words. The vast majority of terrorism that we see around the world in all of our lifetimes are committed by Islamists and by jihadists.
Wow.
We need to address it. And you know what? It's not only the Christian world, the 2.4 Christian people in the world who need to rise up as the leaders this world needs. It's the 2.2 billion Muslims around the world. If Muslims are not jihadist and if they're not Islamist, then speak out against members of the Muslim faith who are committing horrific crimes.
Good. If the Muslims, if they are not jihadists, if they are not extremists, they should be speaking up against what is happening. I will bring a video for you here. When you talk about Fulanis, you will see them get angry. You talk about what they're doing in Nigeria, they will come to this platform to come and be attacking you, like the Efulefus that came in the night. Eh? That is just it. Hey, Mazi, okay. Ndewo nwa Chineke na ndewo. Thank you, sir. God bless you. Asị m ebe o si apụta, Chukwu gọzie na mmajikwu na mmajikwu. Thank you, Mazi. God bless you. Please, after this, everybody will speak. We'll talk here. Okay? Thank you. God bless you. So, that is it. Biko nunu, share. Let's not be going down. Let's share. Okay? It is audible. I've not really taken time to listen to this broadcast.
The Christian world also needs to rise, because recognizing that while Christians are being persecuted, targeted, and places eradicated, like we're seeing in Nigeria, this is not only a Christian issue. Hindus, Buddhists, Jews, Druze, Baha'i, Zoroastrians, Jains, across continents, across cultures, across communities, they're facing the same threats. Different identities, different cultures, same enemy. An extremist ideology that does not tolerate difference, religious, cultural, or ideological. It seeks to dominate through fear, through violence, and through control. So my work as a political advisor, as a news commentator on air, as a human rights advocate, as a Jewish advocate, has made me understand, just as the Jewish principle says, "V'havta le'ra'acha kamocha," love your neighbor as you love yourself. If I want to help my people, I must help other people. And as I also try to awaken Jews around the world, we cannot only help others, we must also help ourselves. We need to be bold to say what we are fighting for. It's not just our lives, it's our values. As my grandfather said, the best thing you can do, and he would say this after surviving the atrocities of the Holocaust and helping others constantly throughout his life, the best thing you can do is to plant a tree under which's shade you will never sit. That is what we are doing here today. That is what these leaders are doing here today. That is what you are doing every day you wake up and speak your truth. You're planting a tree that will grow and flourish and help somebody in the future.
Yeah, amen. It is all about value.
We need to recognize the global pattern. Christians massacred across sub-Saharan Africa, Yazidis enslaved and nearly annihilated by ISIS in Iraq, Israelis of all faiths, Jews, Christians, and Muslims, targeted in mass casualty terror attacks, rocket fire stabbings, and kidnappings by jihadi groups, Jews targeted in synagogues across the United States and Europe, Hindus attacked in India and Bangladesh, Buddhists targeted in Sri Lanka, religious minorities persecuted under the Iranian regime, LGBT individuals executed, tortured, and persecuted under extremist regimes, women stripped of rights or actually never even allowed to have them at all. Different communities, same ideology, same violence. This moment right now as we gather requires more than awareness, it requires resolve. If you truly have faith, you have faith for a reason. It's like I say, I'm short-term pessimistic, but long-term optimistic. It is faith that allows me to be optimistic. And if you have that faith, it means you're fighting for the future. You're doing something for tomorrow because you can believe that something can be greater than what we have. Not in fear, not in retreat, but in strength, in solidarity, and in shared purpose, to protect communities, to stand alongside other faiths, Jews, Hindus, Buddhists, and others who are facing the same violence, the same persecution, and the same threat. Because this is not a series of random, isolated attacks. It is a sustained assault on religious freedom itself. It's a sustained assault on freedom itself. And no community can withstand it if it stands alone. This is the time not just for interfaith courage, not just interfaith dialogue, but for moral clarity, not moral confusion, for action, not performance. Because when one faith community is targeted and others remain silent, that threat does not disappear, it expands. A cancer untreated grows. An attack on one faith is a warning to all, and a test of whether we stand divided or rise together. So the question is not whether the world is aware. The question is whether the world is willing to act. Policy must reflect reality, not narratives, naming the ideology driving this violence, holding accountable those who fund, enable, or excuse it, protecting vulnerable communities with urgency and resolve, supporting those on the ground, leaders, women, minority advocates who are fighting for survival, because without alignment between truth and policy, there is no strategy, there is only theater. Moral clarity is not controversial. It is necessary. And when people get upset by my angrily, as I'm doing right now, sharing the truth, if they think it's controversial, if they think it's challenging, I say, what makes it challenging for you? Let's have the conversation and let's focus on those values, because truth is not dangerous. Denial is. And silence does not create peace. It creates permission. So when I wake up and when I'm blessed to meet people like you, I remember why I have my own mantra. I don't fight back. I fight forward. And I need all of you to fight with me, and I want to fight with you to support everything you do. And for those who are still so silent, the silent majority that plagues many Western democracies, we need to make sure that they're not silent anymore. Because what comes for one of us comes for all of us.
Yes.
Thank you for having me today.
That is the truth. Now, before we continue, let us listen to this girl before I analyze what this young man has just said. He said so many things. Okay. Silence does not create peace. It brings loopholes. It creates a very big vacuum and problem. Okay. So silence can never help. That is why we are telling those who are sitting on the fence to stop sitting on the fence and come closer for your freedom. Come to support and support your freedom, because it is what you need to do. It is what you must do. Okay? It is something that you must do. Let's hear this girl before we continue. I just have to go back.
My name is Mercy Mesamari, and I stand before you today as a woman who was not meant to survive. I was a daughter, a teacher, and had dreams written in notebooks.
Imagine.
And a future I could almost touch. Then they came.
Child.
Fulani and thank you. Armed Fulani militiamen who did not see us as humans, but as something to be owned. They killed those who could not pay ransom. They marched us away from everything we had ever known. And for weeks that followed in captivity, I was beaten, starved, and assaulted by men who called their cruelty holy. I do not share this to shock you. I share it because silence is what has allowed it to happen over and over again.
That is the same thing that this man just spoke. That's why I went back to play this girl. Because silence gave it room to continue to be happening. Because it does not happen to you. You see, Obasaramo, until Yametugi, you begin to run helter-skelter. Silence. As if nothing happens. This people's agenda is evil. They rape people and say that they are holy. Thank God for this gathering. Biafra is on the table.
And silence is what allows it to continue to happen. While I speak, other women, girls are still held captive. In captivity, in like remaining Chibok girls, someone like Leah Sheribu. Some killings were carried out in the broad daylight, such as Deborah Yakubu by Islamic jihadists in Sokoto State. And obviously, the silence of Nigerian government to persecute the perpetrators is loud, and the will of the international community to see is blind as a bat. Many women are held as prisoners of conscience and are waking this morning to the same horror I lived. They are praying that the world has not forgotten them. The world must not forget them. To the government, institutes, and citizens of the world, I ask three things. Pursue justice. What was done to us is not private tragedy. It is a crime against humanity. Perpetrators must be identified, prosecuted, and held accountable in international court.
Okay.
There can be no peace built on the bones of unpunished atrocity.
That is it. That is it.
Support survivors. We need more than sympathy. We need medical care, trauma treatment, legal protection, education, and a chance to build our lives that were stolen from us.
Right.
Survivors must not be abandoned once the camera turns away. Rescue those still held. Every day of delay is another day of unimaginable suffering.
Exactly.
The international community has the resources, the intelligence, and the moral duty to act. Find them, free them, bring them home. I survived, but many did not.
Right.
Many are still waiting. I am not asking for pity. I am asking for your courage to match ours. If you remember nothing else from what I have said today, remember this: we are human beings. We were never property, and we will not be silent.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Anya mmiri na-agba m. Anya mmiri na-agba m n'ebe a. Oh God. A lot of people are passing through this. Many people that don't have this opportunity that this my sister had to express their ordeal. Ịkọwa otu o si wee gara ha. A lot of them. A lot of people are still in captivity, being assaulted morning, day, and night. Being assaulted morning, day, and night. The world is keeping quiet. Who is responsible for this? Who is sponsoring this? Who? I think, oh God.
Putting the money there. You need to know those people who are running the logistic.
Oh,
you
yeah,
need to know those ones who are using
let me
rhetoric.
read this one.
Merged
Okay,
the two
we
in
have
1914.
We have heard this before, but let's just play where
For the greatest security threat of the next
Nigeria. Oh God.
question. Anything I say, it's right here, because some of it might be shocking. Nigeria, the 6th largest nation on earth, on track to be the 3rd largest by 2050. Top 5 OPEC, $1 trillion in minerals, a cultural powerhouse. Nigerians are among the most educated and wealthy in the United States, and they do it with integrity, sharing the values that made America great. Last year, General Michael Langley, AFRICOM, declared the region anchored by northern Nigeria as the epicenter of global terror. ISIS, Al-Qaeda, others call it home. Their stated ambition: full Sharia across Nigeria, and then a global jihad launch pad. The recent Old Dominion shooter was radicalized in Nigeria. 2 scenarios. Tinubu was declared the winner with less than 9 million votes in a nation of 230 million. A free election changes everything. Let the people vote on a new constitution. To fake the time or if the war and absolute. The window is closing. We must call this what it is and intervene now, or the current genocide. Thank
you.
That people did not have to be killed. Whether I disagree with your beliefs or not, that's okay. I'm not going to kill you because I disagree.
Okay, before this, let me bring this video.
Father's release, and for countless others detained.
Let me bring this video. Let's
for their faith.
Discuss it.
She has previously worked as a professional staff member of the Congressional Executive Commission on China, and she now works in the United States.
Let me see.
She, thank you for being here. Then we'll hear from Stephen Schneck, who served as chair of the U.S. Commission on International Religious Liberty from 2024 to 2025.
We come for this, but let us see this thing.
He was appointed by President Biden twice. A political philosopher in training, Dr. Schneck served as a professor, department chair, and dean at the Catholic University of America for over 30 years.
Let's play this before we continue on that. Okay, that's it. All right, we are coming back to that, but let's listen to this. Okay, because of these people agenda, that's why they are trying hard to kill Trump. Okay, because they see that America is standing to stop what they are doing. Because America know that they are the highest target. It has happened to them, and the past presidents became a complicit of what is happening to them because of their dirty politics.
At the very same Washington Hilton where Ronald Reagan was shot for an attempt. Saturday night, Donald Trump was the target of a third assassination attempt. Saturday night, Donald Trump was the target of a third assassination attempt, and it happened at the very same Washington Hilton where Ronald Reagan was shot 45 years ago. Here's what the president said.
You know, I've studied assassinations, and I must tell you, the most impactful people, the people that do the most, you take a look at the people, Abraham Lincoln, I mean, you go through the people that have gone through this, where they got them. But the people that do the most, the people that make the biggest impact, they're the ones that they go after.
Please, let's
they
join.
don't go after the ones that don't do much because they like it that way.
Commission.
And when you look at the people that have either, whether it was an attempt or a successful attempt, they're very impactful people.
Yeah, and
just take a look at the names there, the big names.
He's right, and he knows exactly what he's talking about. And the timing of what's happening this week tells you everything. Today, King Charles arrives in Washington, just as a conveniently timed book is published called The Queen and Her Presidents, The Hidden Hand That Shaped History. Well, that hidden hand is not happy with Donald Trump, as a new House of Lords report released at Chatham House last week makes very clear. So we have a thwarted assassination attempt, a royal visit, and a Chatham House forum. These are not separate events, although the media will treat them that way. But if you understand how Donald Trump and his administration are dismantling the strategic and economic levers of the British Empire, then you will understand just how connected they are and just how dangerous the current moment is. Okay. I'm Susan Kokinda. I'm no stranger to assassinations or assassination attempts. In 1968, I was with RFK Sr.'s campaign when he was shot. And I was in the press pool in 1981 at GW Hospital, waiting to find out the fate of Ronald Reagan, who had just been shot at that same Washington Hilton. There is a hidden hand behind this, and if you want to understand what it is, hit those like, share, and subscribe buttons. So here's what I'm going to cover today. First, the importance of President Trump identifying the reason behind political assassinations. Second, how a new book spills the beans on the power and influence of the monarchy just in time for King Charles' visit. And third, the new House of Lords report, which admits that the empire is toast without a cooperating United States, which Donald Trump's America is not. So, Saturday night at the Washington Hilton, a 31-year-old man from California, Cole Thomas Allen, charged the Secret Service checkpoint carrying a shotgun, a handgun, and multiple knives. So you have Butler, Pennsylvania, Palm Beach, Florida, and the Washington Hilton. 3 attempts in under 2 years. How Saturday's attack happened brings up serious and manifold security questions, which Barbara Boyd is diving into and will have more to say on soon. But I'm going to address the why. President Trump said it, but to really understand it, you have to go back 125 years. Because the last president who genuinely threatened the British imperial system was William McKinley. Donald Trump refers to him often because of his terror policies, which the president has revived. And McKinley made the United States the industrial wonder of the world, as Donald Trump is doing. Okay. And McKinley understood the importance of the Western Hemisphere, as Trump does. McKinley was assassinated at a Pan-American exposition.
Imagine.
McKinley had continued the American system tradition of Abraham Lincoln, and both of those presidents represented everything the British Empire and the City of London feared. McKinley was assassinated in 1901, but he was not...
This British Empire, Kim Charles, gini ka ọ gara imedi na White House. Thank God this woman is not afraid. He's saying the truth. British Empire, ndị ahụ dị egwu, ha dị egwu. Ha dị egwu. Amahụ m asị na ọha nwa wetara anyị Christianity. Anyway, they came in disguise. Christianity amaka. There is no religion like that. There's like a Christian. But unfortunately, these people came in disguise. because, in fact, these people were terrorists. But how they are in disguise because they know that they came in fact in disguise, bringing something that looks real, but behind they were doing evil. Mind you that they were still the same people that were ordering the people they use as the head to buy their own people in the name that na you were as a saying that they are their police. They were the same people they were using to buy our own people. How want to run us now saying how this and that. I know that were innocent people that followed them, like Mary Slessor, a young lady who had passion for Christ, for evangelism. She came. But these people, came for business. And they came under disguise of Christians. That is the truth. These people Diego. Good afternoon, Wanne. Ndewo. Wisdom. Thank you. I greet all of you that are here. Thank you for joining. Ndewo. So, let us continue, please. I would like us to talk. Please join me in this studio. Join me. I could too much.
Not the only leader during that period who was assassinated. In 1894, the president of France was stabbed. In 1897, the Spanish prime minister was shot. In 1898, the Empress of Austria was stabbed. 1900, the King of Italy shot. And then in 1901, McKinley shot. They were all killed by...
They want to also shot Trump because he is doing the right thing. Mind you, I've just forgotten. There was one African leader. Okay, somebody's coming in. One African leader who God, I've forgotten this story. Okay, I will say that next time. But if you know the story, you come here, you can help me to elaborate it. They used the same military that was with these people, with this man, an African leader. Is it Martin Molumba? What do you call him? Molumba something. I watched this man when he was running away from the people that are supposed to protect him because France has bought them over, and Britain, they buy this man. Teeth. Where do they bring the teeth? For what? Africans, rise and unite. Rise and unite. Please. Okay? So let us just finish.
Anarchists. Now, Great Britain was notorious for safe housing anarchist movements and the assassins they spawned. Which Promethean Actions ebook?
So,
it's the British
who
murder our president's documents.
That you can speak.
The link is in the description.
Continue. So you can go ahead, please. Mazi, go ahead.
Oh, Wada, good afternoon. Good day, Biafrans. Am I out, please?
Yes, you are very loud and clear. Thank you so much for your
It's terrible. Your program today is BAM. It is, in fact, please, you make sure you keep resending this program. Is worth repeating for some more weeks. Because it contains a lot of information that people get to hear about.
I'm telling you,
it's very, very interesting. Biafrans, I greet every one of you on board. Honorable Emenike, Love, Ndewono, I see you all.
Mama Love is here. Wow. I'll tell you
Yes, she can't hide now. I think I spotted her sometime.
I saw Love. Ness, who is this person? You will talk here. Oh, God. Wow.
Endeavor. I agree to yes.
You will also speak.
Yes. In fact, I just want to add a little to your expositions today. In fact, that is, they are outrightly correct. What keeps surprising me is after all these revelations, after all these expositions, many people, many that call themselves elites, Nigerians, Biafrans, to be most awkward to think about, will still be dying for this contraption. But in a normal enclave, that place is supposed to be boiling for so long a time. But what do they keep on doing? Everybody is looking up for the next election or selection, as they normally do. Election that failed them, or a selection that failed them last three years, selection that failed them the past 8 years, selection that failed them past 12, 15, 20 years. Every now and now again, they will keep on hoping and repeating the same mess that got them into this situation till today. Imagine the people that are now mostly loudly crying, calling for Biafrans to take their lives, to take their fate by their own selves. The cry is now louder outside than it should be, when it is supposed to be the people that are affected, gruesomely affected, down there in Nigeria, that should be crying louder. Now, what will these people do? That is the reason why we are still here. That is the reason why we are still battling. Because each time they come up to speak, to do something, they will look behind and won't see anybody. Or won't see people large enough that will justify their resolve to help the people there get back to their feet. It's also sad that these same people are the ones causing their problems more and more and more by refusing to do something, by refusing to take this fight by themselves, either out of cowardice, fear, or negligence. I just cannot understand. Imagine all the speakers today, all of them know or have been well briefed. They are all well briefed about Nigeria, Biafra in particular, and the atrocities going on there. What stops even the Biafrans themselves from knowing all this? Or why the negligence? Why the pretense? This high level pretense is what is even making me mad most of the time, because I cannot say that they don't know about what is happening in that country. But keeping silent, keeping quiet, turning the other eye or the other way is what is making this to keep on happening.
Sorry, because I'm not interjecting you. Somebody just supported what you say, that I should have played the video to the end. That is very, very interesting, because I was looking at time, so I will do that. I had other
So
interesting
no,
videos.
you can still continue. Then maybe I will just be
No,
joining
continue.
intermittently. Yeah,
Continue. He's just supporting what you said. Okay.
yeah.
He's just
So
supporting what you said. Yeah.
now, yes, thank you. And for the involvement of BRGIE in all this, involvement of BRGIE is not to be it's not to be shied away. You mentioned it earlier today. Who else? At least to my reckoning, I can't remember times in the past when such discussions are held with mention of Biafra in it. It never happened previously. Let me just say the past 10, 20 years back, or even up to the last 5 years. You seldom listen to words discussed and heard mention of Biafra in such a discussions. It's happening today. And all these presenters today, all the speakers today, believe you me, if they continue to be holding lectures, attending conferences, and mentioning Biafra in such conferences, do you know the level of awareness that is going to create for us? And that is exactly what we have been looking out for, that Biafra, that they start discussing Biafra in world politics. It has never happened. And now in Nigeria, those who are still hoping on empty hopes in Nigeria, let me give you a bit of the iceberg. That country is irredeemable.
I'm telling you.
That country, what makes it irredeemable? Now, let's have a look. In the system you operate, the executives have failed you. The next, the realms of governance, judiciary have failed you beyond repairs. The legislatives have failed you. Now, in a governance, when these three arms of government fail the people, who is their next hope? Who is the next hope of the people to find succor? The fourth realm of the government. There is a fourth realm. It's not just the three arms of government. There is the fourth realm. And who are they? Media. The information, the media house, they are also part of a government. They are the fourth arm of a government in every disposition. Now in Nigeria, that fourth realm has also failed you because they've allowed themselves to be compromised. These are the sets that should have been enlightening the people to know what is going on. The atrocities going on and on in the community, in the economy. But they are not doing it. They are choosing to partner the others, their contractors, than telling the people what is at stake. So you have nowhere to go, nowhere to run. Nowhere to run to. That is why, that is how so bad your situation is in that contraption. If you are still hoping that somebody will rise up the next day to save you, you have a nightmare. You are in a nightmare. Because that same person coming will first of all save his ass. Why is it to save his ass? Because he have so many skeletons in his cupboard that he will need to protect. And from the disposition that we've all heard, and I think the question you said somebody asked, I think I came across it also, asking, who are they really afraid of in that country? The president, who is supposed to be the all and all, is afraid of somebody. The chief of army staff and their defense are afraid of somebody.
Minister of Defense.
The Minister of Defense and all the other army, the security chiefs are all afraid of somebody.
Police IG.
Yes. The governors or the legislators are afraid of somebody. Who then are they afraid of?
Big question.
Yes. Then you should ask yourself this. Who are they afraid of? They are afraid of only clique that is in control. And that is the jihadist. A Sultan of Sokoto and his council, his emirate council. They are the ones in charge of that country, and they will never let go because they have God giving them agenda.
Until strong force fall on them.
Yeah. They can never let go. If you know these people, if you know their mindset, if you know how they, if you know them, you understand that they will never let go in peace. Now, since all these people are afraid of somebody that is after them, you think that one man will wake up one day to salvage you. First, get it onto every one of you that the Senate, the House of Reps are owned by the Janjaweed, by the this caliphate. They can never let anything progressive happen in that country because it is against their belief.
Yes.
And these people don't care. They don't give a damn about you. They don't give a damn about the farewell, about the development of that country. God damn it. They don't give a damn. You think the Fulani, the average Fulanis care about your development?
You're joking.
This is a fact. And that is why they are adamant. This is why they don't care. In fact, nothing bothers them except that principle which they want, Islamization, Sharia. After it, nothing else.
Okay.
It needs you and I, everybody that is touched, to march out. You thinking you are not affected. You thinking it hasn't touched you. None of your family members have been hacked down. It might not be long. It might not be long before it gets to you. I'm quite correct. Let us bring the influence of Britain in all this. It's no longer hidden. Britain, honestly, that is why they are falling out with a US today. For some time, I've been researching to understand what race these people are really were before now. The race they come. I've not really hit that target because it's somehow scary to understand that Britain as they are is always erred with anything Jewish. Britain, for no reason, they never partner or are in terms with anything Jewish. That is where their problem is today. Anywhere that there is Jewish, the British people are not. They are not. What will I? How will I put it? They are never consonant with those race. The way they hate the Jewish is the same way they hate anywhere they identify any people with this inclination, just as they hated Biafrans. And that is why they have resolved to partner with all the Arabic nations today, because they think they can use them to climb back to the world's supremacy. That is what is playing out today. And that's why they are falling off with the United States. Because Britain discreetly have been trying to get back to where they thought they belong. World power. And they can only be there when they destroy US with the there's a partnership of the Arab world. That's why you see them so friendly with all these Arab nations and commenting US. I think Trump understood that. Many of them have seen that signature, and that is why it will never go well with them. This is the time, our chance as Biafrans to utilize this opportunity. And many are in our cause, but disappointingly don't know how to go about it. Many who say they identify with Biafran cause are in this journey with us, but are too shallow to understand the best way to get this freedom. Those are the problem. Those who would think are for us, with us, but are the enemies in house. If you are one of those, have a rethink. After watching this program, you have to go back, sit back. If you can, just take 30 minutes time to meditate. Think deeply. If you have not supported BRGIE, if you have not aligned yourself with BRGIE, ask yourself, why should you not identify with this government in exile that is making all these things happen? Because it's no longer hidden.
At all.
You cannot keep denying that you don't know who actually is playing this string.
Yes.
Pretending you don't know is like denying yourself. It's like lying to yourself. How can one lie to him or herself? Pretending you don't know who is actually making these moves happen is the biggest deceit. Please don't tell it to your children. Because you lie to yourself, the worst will also be to lie to your children. Younger generation. Come out. That is what the world wants to see. Unified force. Togetherness. If we come out to speak in one voice, believe you me, this journey won't be far any longer. That thing you think or we think is still far off, we can get it in less than no time. Once we decide to speak in one voice. That is what the world wants to see. Our continued disunity is affecting us in a severe negative way.
I'm telling you.
And worse still is that we all know the truth. There's no point pretending over it. We all know the truth. Please, Biafrans, the rest of the world, freedom lovers, even if you are not a Biafran, even if you are a Nigerian, even if you are an African, it's time to once again come out and support that which you know is the truth and the right thing to do. The world is speaking. The world has risen. The world wants to see you and I come out in one voice. Let's liberate Africa. That's the duty for you and I. Not every day keep seeing news outrages on social media and writing big grammars better than every other person, but being shallow in your head or not knowing what to do. We all know what to do. Support your freedom. Support the liberation of others. It is a duty we owe to our Creator.
Shai, Mazi Opula. Hello? What happened? Is it network? Please try again. Hi, this submission. Oh God. Please come and conclude. Your submission is wonderful. Network has pushed you away. Okay, let's continue to listen as he comes back. As he comes back, please, the mic is there. Please. Like, we are not liking this program. Please click the like button. Konyere YouTube aka to push it to go viral. Okay? We are resolute. Please, log in again. Network. Shy, that is great.
Now go back to Saturday's attempt. Whatever else emerges.
And mind you, like what Mazi was trying to say, the two people that spoke, they said that they took time to go into study of who is sponsoring this. They don't want to call names, but they know, just like our submission here, we all know who is sponsoring this evil that is happening in the world, in the Britain.
It's clear that Cole operated in a constructed climate of hatred for the man he targeted, just as those anarchists operated over a century ago. And it's no small irony that many of the guests in attendance at the White House Correspondents' Dinner represented the very press who helped construct that.
Okay. Was that network? I think it's network that
took you out.
Yeah. Okay. So let me just quickly round up. I think I have spoken at length. What I want to add to everything is yesterday we had Mike Arnold made an interesting submission. And this Mike Arnold, we know him, have been a vehement Nigerianist. He has been a strong defender of Nigeria and Nigerian project. till late, till recently. In fact, I would say up to last month, he was still
with Nigeria.
He was still strongly behind Nigeria. Now, what happened? What happened? Just within days, he realized himself. Within days, he discovered, he found that thing that we have been hinting. In fact, I've confronted him several times in some of his presentations. And in one occasion, he even told me that I should not accuse him of being partisan, and that he gave me a reason, and that I gave him mine. So this thing happened just within last month. I'm surprised to hear him within just after weeks be so angrily out over Nigeria. So that tells us something, that Nigeria is still irredeemable, because every day and day and day out, they keep committing themselves, exposing themselves to the world. Few speakers today clearly stated they have been studying everything Nigeria for.
Oh, God of mercy. Network, oh. Network, please. Network,
that climate. You see it in the newspaper and the social media headlines. Trump is an authoritarian, or he's a pedophile. Now, you also have a more diplomatic version, like members of the House of Lords who warn that Trump has, quote, turbocharged the disruption of the international order. But whatever the temperature scale of the rhetoric, it all comes from the same starting point. What Donald Trump is doing is threatening their system. In 125 years, no president has come this close to dismantling the imperial architecture. President Trump has thrown free trade out the window. He's threatening the power and independence of the Federal Reserve. He is closing off the strategic choke points like the Strait of Hormuz. He's replacing London's shipping insurance racket. He's sanctioning their offshore dirty money operations, and he's pulling the plug on NATO. That's what's behind President Trump's statement after the attack on Saturday.
But you take a look at what's happened to some of our greatest presidents, and it doesn't happen to people that don't do anything. And it's not going to deter me.
That's a president who knows he's making history.
Good.
And so do we. Promethean action will keep you on the stage of history as this battle between the American system.
I like this woman. You are saying the truth without fear, telling Britain what they are. That is a president who is making a history, and he knows that he's making a history. That is it. He's making a history, and he knows that he's making a history. And they don't want him to continue. Hi, Arumere. Okay, sir.
No, I think I will just round up and then go out and come back.
Again,
after some time. I think that's what the network. I don't know why it's happening.
It's like you will go and come back again and refresh.
Yes. So, Biafrans, to round it up, like always, what I'm just trying to say is that you have to free yourself. You have to liberate yourself. Nobody is going to do it, not even Trump, not even anybody. I have to free ourselves and liberate our land. That is what every other nation did. Wherever we are domiciled today, we are fought for and won by people. We can't continue thinking nothing, it doesn't affect us, it doesn't concern us. Let's leave it to the next generation. What do we want to hand over to our children?
Exactly.
You want your children to have a hopeless life, because that's what it's going to lead them to. You want to transfer this obsolete this present situation to your children, and you think you love them. You don't love them. For you to keep quiet, for you to know all the things that is happening today, everything happening, and you decide it doesn't concern you, it doesn't bother you, your children are still okay. But what about tomorrow? What is going to happen in the next 10 years? Now, let me tell us something, one secret. It is very sad to think or to know that actually that Nigeria is still breathing today is because of we in diaspora. We are sadly indirectly funding that country. It would have collapsed by today if not the fall from those in diaspora. That country would have fallen down. You think it's going to continue in the next 10, 20 years? That is a fact. It is the money flowing in from diaspora, from the international communities into that country that is keeping that country alive. Many don't know that. And very soon, it's going to cease. Because when this generation will weaken out, the next after us may not have that relationship that will cause them to be pumping money, sending money to relatives, to siblings at home. That is when you will know, when that country will have the feel of it. It's very sad to know, but it is a fact. If you don't start today to think for your future and future of your children, you are going to end up placing a bleak future to those you think you love. Let us not allow it.
At all.
Biafrans, we should not allow that to happen.
Not at all.
And let me also tell you, if you are in diaspora today, you are well to do, and you refuse to do something, your children are obviously going to learn about it. They will hate you with passion for knowing what they are going to pass through in future, and you refuse to. You pretend and shy away and refuse to help to prepare their future for them. They will hate you. Your children will spit on your grave. Thank you, Wanda. I will take a break. I will stay join later, like I said. Because GC, keep on. You are doing great. I thank you for your endeavors and your strength in everything you do.
Biko, just refresh and come back.
Yes, I will.
Thank you so much for your submission. Thank you. God bless you, honestly. You have also made the work easy for me, okay? You've made it easy for me. That is what we want. Please, a lot of people are here. You people can talk and add your voice. Lend your voice to what we are discussing here. Mama Betty, I think you are seeing it. They are greeting you. They are greeting you. I hope you are seeing it. All right. So we are moving forward. Yes, it is all of us. Anyị niile. A sị na anyụkọ mamịrị ọnụ ọ gbọrọ anyị ụfụfụ. Okay? O nwere ihe a na-ekwu na village. A na-eme meeting asị onwe ihe a na-eme asị ma ịtụta ọha ego ịtụta ụkwụ gị. Because all of them are important. So don't sit on the fence again. See what is happening. I thank God yesterday, Mama Betty, through the program, we had one convert. The program I did yesterday also, when the program was In fact, when I was about to close the program, it held me again for a very long time. Muna Chukwuma with the person was here. And I thank God that at the end, he succumbed and understood what I was saying. What was his name? Ruben Nokpa, yes. So he was here and was saying, because I was playing the disgrace of this accountability group too, what they were exposing themselves. So the person came and was making a comment. I just took time to explain, and thank God that at the end, we were in the same place. He thanked me and then was very grateful. So that is what it should be. So that those people has brain, because I was telling him that all these things they are doing, if we don't talk about it, people's brain will be getting damaged. So that's why sometimes we bring them to analyze. That yesterday, with that exposition yesterday, so he saw reasons. Because he was calling that, why is it that we cannot bring Ogenkere and Ngozi Orabeze together? Chukwuma is here. It was very funny. But I took my time. It took me a very long time. That made me to enter 12 a.m. Megidezi the program. She wait for when we were trying to explain things, So, but I thank God at the end, he understood. So, we are go and also continue to propagate the gospel. And tomorrow is fundraising. Join in the fundraising to support what we are doing. So that is just it. Okay. Now, whoever that wants to speak, there is still mic. Then we continue to listen to this exposition. I will still go back to that one, because honestly, I have not taken time to watch that exposition. But listening to it, it is very, very loaded, because as information will power. Information is power. So as it is getting, we are listening to it, it will be sinking. Just like Mazoke said, if you listen to this thing and you don't sit down and ask yourself, how can you live? Yorubas, 30 Obas flee from their home. Is that what you want to happen to you? The gap has been so much. Don't tell your children. Why are you telling your children that there was a war? If you do that, you are inciting. They use that to make sure that nothing is heard about it. But thank God that it has resurrected. And it is the West that is talking about it now. Talking about the genocide that took place right from 1960 against Biafrans. Against Biafrans. That is what they don't want to hear. And they know that Trump is a no-nonsense man. They want to take his life. They will not succeed. They will not succeed. So let us continue. The mic is still there, please.
And the British system unfolds. So if you want to be equipped with the strategy you need to be part of this fight, subscribe to our free newsletter. Because the enemy understands it too, which is why King Charles is in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
The empire knows what's at stake.
Okay.
Here's what Reuters is counting on.
Mm-hmm.
King Charles on U.S. mission to bolster UK's special relationship with royalist Trump.
Okay.
They're counting on the continuation of the soft power relationship that the monarchy has cultivated with presidents for 70 years. Like the one Susan Page, the author of the just published book, The Queen and Her Presidents, The Hidden Hand That Shaped History, describes. She says, on her first trip to the United States as a sovereign, Queen Elizabeth II so charmed President Dwight Eisenhower that she managed to mend a breach between their two countries over the 1956 Suez Crisis. Now, Suez was the last time a U.S. president seriously and openly challenged the empire. When France and Britain moved to seize the canal in 1956, Eisenhower told them to stop, and he threatened to crash the British pound. They stopped. And it was the moment Britain discovered it no longer had independent power, and it had to rely on manipulating the United States instead. From then on, it relied on soft power to direct the United States. And Page's new book makes clear that it was Queen Elizabeth herself who wielded that power. Here's Page's description in a recent interview.
So almost every day she would get briefing papers. Every week she would get top secret intelligence documents. And so over the period of decades, she was as informed about intelligence issues around the world as any other person, for over a longer period of time than any leader, and even over issues, say, contingency plans for a nuclear war.
This is not a figurehead.
This is not a figurehead. So when during Buhari, I think when Buhari came to power, Okuno Manakim Charles visited Nigeria. Is it Prince? Yeah, now he was Prince then. Prince Charles visited Nigeria. Okay, and went to solidify their agenda with the caliphates. With the caliphates. His mother, look at how he started getting every information of what is happening in the world. Is he the queen of the world? And Anna Guru that Britain with Islam, they are in partner. They are working in pari passu. Hana Ruko. This voice of Biafra that we played, they told you that they said what is happening. Let them go deep to study why this problem, who is aiding this Islamic with their jihadist agenda. They found so many things. And the world must continue to hear this. Because we are saying it's not just about Sahel region. Not just about Sahel region. Britain wants to use them to see how they can still maintain their past glory. Their past glory, which they never even merited. They use other people to climb to be answering world power. Let's continue.
Elizabeth got top secret intelligence briefings every day for 70 years. She was in on the nuclear war contingency plans, and you can bet she had the full take on the Five Eyes intelligence operation. And she used it. Page describes how the personal relationship between Elizabeth and Ronald Reagan contributed to Reagan's decision to support Great Britain in the Malvinas Islands crisis with Argentina, despite opposition from some of his advisors. Elizabeth was heeding Winston Churchill's advice, quote, "Stay close to the Americans," unquote. And it worked until Donald Trump came to town. And again, in that PBS interview, Page spills the beans.
You report that a senior British official described the Queen wearing the Obama brooch on the day of President Trump's arrival as a silent act of resistance. That is a striking claim for a monarch who was really studied in neutrality.
A rare example of that. But this was a brooch that Michelle Obama had given her. She had worn it only once, and that was for the reciprocal dinner with the Obamas. For 7 years, she had not been seen in public. Then on the day that President Trump arrives in England, she is in a formal meeting with some religious leaders, and she's wearing it. And I think those close to her told me there was no other way to interpret that, but to interpret it as a statement of resistance to Trump and a statement of support for President Obama, with whom she was actually quite close.
The next day, during that visit to London, President Trump broke royal etiquette and walked ahead of the Queen. This is the backstory that you have to remember while you watch the pomp and circumstance over the next several days. Because soft power and ceremony is not going to undo the hard power which Donald Trump has taken to the British-created post-war liberal order. And the House of Lords just admitted it. Last week, Chatham House premiered a new report published by the British House of Lords International Relations and Defense Committee entitled Adjusting to New Realities, Rebalancing the UK-US Partnership. Now, that committee is chaired by Lord Robertson, who was the former NATO General Secretary, and it includes Lord Kim Durack, whose relationship to Donald Trump tells you everything. Then Sir Kim Durack was Britain's ambassador to Washington in Trump's first term until 2019, when his cables calling the Trump administration inept and insecure were leaked. Those cables also boasted of the networks he cultivated in Washington as he flooded the zone with anti-Trump policies. Trump demanded his removal, and he resigned. 4 months later, the British establishment made him a lord. Now he's on the committee figuring out how to manage relations with the Trump-led United States. And at the Chatham House panel releasing the House of Lords report, Durack made clear what was at stake. First, he described how Britain depends on the post-war order.
There is, as Lord Robertson said in his introduction, a US retreat from what is commonly called the rules-based international order, which broadly defined is the system of institutions and rules set up after the Second World War to manage relations between states, to promote prosperity, and to prevent conflict. And as a medium-sized power with an open economy and a history of supporting free trade, we in the UK have found that system has suited us well. But it looks to us that increasingly Americans are taking a different view.
Suited us quite well. That's an understatement. And in the House of Lords report itself, Lord MacDonald made clear that that system, which suits the British quite well, doesn't work without the United States. He said, there is no credible law without effective enforcement. And on the international stage, there is no effective enforcement without the United States. Then, back to Lord Durack, he delivered the indictment that it is Donald Trump's United States which has abandoned this post-war architecture.
There's also, one could argue, and Lord Robertson again mentioned this in his introduction, a quite clear disdain for, disregard for international law, as demonstrated recently by the military actions in Venezuela and Iran. And in some ways, American foreign policy seems to be moving back to an older tradition that is more nationalist.
That older, more nationalistic tradition was last fully exercised when William McKinley was president. The fear that this is going to become permanent runs through every page of the report. If Trump has 2 more years to consolidate, the change may be irreversible. They are racing the clock, and they know it. So while you're watching the pomp and circumstance this week, remember this. The monarchy was never a figurehead. It was a fully intelligence-briefed operation tasked with protecting the post-war order. The hidden hand isn't really hidden anymore. Donald Trump is dismantling that order, and no amount of soft power or ceremony is going to change that. And as the president said after the assassination attempt, it's the ones who are most impactful and who change history that they go after. Promethean Action understands that, and we understand that Donald Trump can't do it alone. The more people who are on the stage of history with the president, the sooner we win this fight. You can join Promethean Action as a supporting member or a contributor and become part of that. So this has been your Monday Brief. Thanks for watching.
Please take a moment and subscribe to our...
Donald Trump can't do it alone.
That is a very wonderful exposition, you know? So they are calling that everybody should speak up, speak the truth. The YouTube, I know you know, because please now allow people to be posting things that are happening, because sometimes it helps. Okay? Just look at it. This woman has, she has really hit the nail on the head. They are not happy because Trump is trying to break that chain of the monarchical system, which is holding the world. They are using it to control the world. That monarchy they are using to control the world. And they know they don't have the power. That's why they are using jihadist activities. They are working in synergy with these jihadist extremists, not minding what it takes. How is it that you will be the colonial master of a country and the people are being died day by day? For once, you never spoke. Once, you never said anything. You never condemned the act of Nigeria. Not even in disguise. Not even in disguise. So the world know that no hammer, aka ha siri ike na ya. It is circling around their legs. They can't deny it. But they don't know that they are also in danger. I just pity the common Britain, the common British people, who the thing will also fall on their head. It is evil. It is evil. So let us go back to scattered. Okay. Yes, so it is scattered. Because the onwe onye na-eme ihe ọjọọ na-anọgide. Evil. You are doing it and you think that it is working for you. If you don't receive the punishment, Chineke were aka ya wee punishie gị. There was one prophecy, one was it an Indian prophet or Israel that said that Britain will fall. It is not the wish of people for that to happen, but because they don't have human hearts, they support evil. Laying them in Nigeria. Biafrans, please. Africans, rise up. Rise up. Please. Rise up. And say no to this. Britain or France will send a country go and attack. They will go. But when they have problem in their own country, they will not come to help them to solve that problem. The people will be left vulnerable. The people will be left vulnerable. That is a problem. So let us continue with this.
There's a professor, Steve.
Plus, we still have time. There is Mike, please.
In Burma, whose suffering has largely disappeared from the administration's vocabulary. Worse, the administration has revoked temporary protective status for Burma and stated that it's safe for persecuted Rohingya to be sent back to the country that has tried to exterminate them. This selective silence is not accidental.
My love,
it reflects a deliberate shift in priorities, and it undermines both our credibility and our moral authority.
Talk to Biafrans.
It also is in stark contrast to how previous administrations, including the first Trump administration, approached the international religious freedom issue. And despite the rhetoric and prioritization of Christianity, the administration has prioritized other interests over protecting Christianity. How else do you explain the spectacle of tomahawk strikes in Nigeria in the name of protecting Christians while cutting assistance that would actually address discrimination against religious communities? Or the administration's dismissal of persistent challenges that Christian communities in Palestine face from Israeli settler violence and restrictions by the Israeli government. Christian churches in Israel and the Catholic Church in Gaza have been bombed.
Okay.
This hearing was initially intended to have a witness from the State Department, former U.S. Representative Mark Walker, who is now the principal advisor on global religious freedom. Instead, at the last minute, the department notified us that Mr. Walker would not testify. The Office of International Religious Freedom has a serious mission to integrate religious freedom into the United States foreign policy. However, increasingly, the administration has refused to send State Department witnesses, even for Republican chairwomen and chairmen. This administration has taken the unusual step of deciding not to nominate anyone to be the Senate-confirmed ambassador at large for international religious freedom, as required by law, and instead named a principal advisor for global religious freedom to lead the office. This raises serious questions. The law is clear. The ambassador at large has the responsibility to serve as a principal advisor to the president and the Secretary of State on matters of international religious freedom. The administration is over a year late on releasing the annual religious freedom reports and has not designated countries as countries of particular concern, apart from Nigeria, as required by law. Given these deep concerns with the administration's embrace of Christian nationalist rhetoric and the status of the State Department's efforts on international religious freedom, Mr. Walker should be in one of these seats here today, testifying in front of this committee. And Mr. Chairman, I hope that we'll be able to schedule that hearing with Mr. Walker soon. I yield back.
This is a congressman talking, Rep. Castro. Okay? So congressmen are rising up. Who is doing this? Biafra Republic government in exile and no other body. Not even those working underground. Not even the CRC is wise. Not Orabueze. She has that woman who Kiriwojo. She went and hired a building, made her arrange, maybe pay them for 1 day or 1 week, put Biafra flag. After that, she went and removed the flag. How about goes on at the place? Arrange. Mana people are still following her. When you are seeing this thing happening, when you are seeing everything working as God has planned it, God is working, as my sister said, my OBJ. Thank you for joining. Please, if you've not subscribed, I beg you subscribe and click the like button. Let us like this video now. Let us like this program. And the mic is there. Please help me to speak. Your voice can also go viral. Okay? You explain it in a different dimension, which will make sense. So, please, in our here and emeni, it can also na no na fence. Na-eso ebe ụzọ na-adịghọ. Ọzọkwa gị nwa ma ihe na-eme gị. It's you that knows what is wrong with you. So, the light is here. You are seeing it. It is working. It is happening. The fruit is showing itself. They said the person that spoke, the Israel guy that spoke before this one, he said that you should plant a tree that will be fruitful, where you will be harvesting and relax. You sit under a seat and be harvesting. You don't keep quiet. You don't keep silent. He said that this thing is to be done for dignity. That is why I've been saying every time that we are fighting for our dignity to live as human beings. People you don't know that come from just Sahel, from Futajalon, we come and be rampaging. Onekwano Kahade, Matawale, Vice President, Sultan of Sokoto. They used Rufai. Rufai was a useful instrument. El-Rufai was a useful instrument then because he was the one paying terrorists. They call them bandits. They are not bandits. Okay? So let us continue.
We do have a very distinguished group of people who will testify, beginning with former Ambassador at Large Sam Brownback for Religious Freedom. In the first Trump administration, prior to that, he was governor of the state of Kansas. He was a United States Senator and a congressman. He can't hold a job. He had all three, and he did a magnificent job in each and every one of them. I would point out that when many of us were concerned about what the Janjaweed was doing in Darfur, Sam Brownback.
Everybody is talking about Janjaweed. What the Janjaweeds are doing. Nah, Nnamdi Kanu Diegu. When Nnamdi Kanu come with this word Janjaweed, now say, what is Janjaweed? Janjaweed that whole Igbo. Now see, onye kwanu kama as Nnamdi Kanu na kpo Janjaweed. How can you calling people Janjaweed? So look at the word. They are concerned about what the Janjaweeds are doing. These Janjaweeds, hana kakwana waka has ready. Weeds. Atojo, agefopu ha.
Darfur. He was the first lawmaker to do so. I followed a year later, and Frank Wolf, was. But Sam was there, and he helped crystallize international and American opinion about the genocide that was taking place under Bashir in Khartoum. So, Sam, that was an amazing and brave undertaking on your part, and I can't thank you enough because we all then coalesced around you and began working overtime on that. So I thank you for that. He does serve as co-chair of the International Religious Freedom Summit, and as I mentioned, Dr. Lantos Sweat also co-chairs with him, and together in a bipartisan way and in a way that I think makes a huge difference, had virtually every faith denomination imaginable at this summit to really reach out to try to say, what can we do to try to stop this, this terrible repression. We will also then hear from Grace Jin Drexel. She is the daughter of Pastor Ezra Jin, arrested in October of 2025 as part of a brand new, of course, ongoing under Xi Jinping, but a sweeping crackdown of independent Christian churches in China. Ms. Drexel has spoken out publicly numerous times to advocate for her father's release and for countless others detained by the CCP for their faith. She has previously worked as a professional staff member of the Congressional Executive Commission on China, and she now works in the United States Senate. Thank you for being here. Then we'll hear from Stephen Schneck, who served as chair of the U.S. Commission on International Religious Liberty from 2024 to 2025.
I like these comments. They are scared of Biafrans.
He was appointed by President Biden twice.
They're really scared of
political
Biafrans.
philosopher in training, Dr. Schneck served as a professor, department chair, and dean at the Catholic University of America for over 30 years, and received his doctorate at the University of Notre Dame. And again, the full vitae for each of our distinguished witnesses will be made a part of the record. But I yield to my good friend, and I can't thank him enough for the inspiration he has provided to all of us, Ambassador Brownback.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, Madam Chairman, ranking members. Just delighted to be here in front of you, and thank you for hosting this hearing. We just finished up a two-day Religious Freedom Summit where we had people from over 80 countries.
This was another gathering, no, apart from the other one that we played first, another gathering. So Biafra is on the pipeline. Nigeria is gone. Every gathering, Biafra must be put on the table. Nailing Nigeria.
Every major and most minor religions there. It's all centered around one theme: religious freedom for everybody, everywhere, all the time. My co-chair is here, Dr. Lantos Sweat. It's just a fabulous individual personally, and then also a legacy of Tom Lantos's daughter, and she carries that fire on and just does a spectacular job. Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, we are seeing something unprecedented really right now in the world, and I've been in this work, in this space for some period of time. There's an alliance of nations that's emerged that see religious freedom as the greatest internal threat to their dictatorial control. This alliance of communist, authoritarian, totalitarian regimes will literally stop at nothing to control people of faith. They see people of faith as a threat. They often they will attack them first, and the people of faith are the ones that will be first attacked and the last ones left standing. This also represents an opportunity for us. If we will look at religious freedom not as some sort of side humanitarian issue or a human right, a boutique human right, but would see it as a major global security issue. This represents the best tool, I believe, that we have.
Thank God that you have said it. This is a global security issue. So they are rampaging everywhere with the help of France and the Britain and Europe. They bought Europe to be doing this.
To go at these regimes and to attack them in return. And you just look at how much they spend on controlling their people of faith, it should tell you something that's an area we should look in.
Please come again.
Communist China will spend billions of dollars this year alone to suppress every faith that exists in that country. They'll suppress the Uyghur Muslims, they'll suppress the Tibetan Buddhists, they'll suppress the Christians, and they save their greatest anger and bile for the Falun Gong, domestically grown.
All right, go ahead.
Yes, I just want to point out something very fast. For those doubting Thomases, I want to just touch to their memory. The last speaker, Senator John, the one that just spoke before, he was in a conference last year in Finland, the Lati conference.
Okay.
He was there, a special guest of our Prime Minister today.
Wow.
So he was one of the speakers in a conference last year.
Conference.
Yes, he was at the conference there. So I just want to point out that for those who are still questioning, Prime Minister is not doing anything. He was taking a picture here and there. BRGIE, they don't know who is calling the shots. What is happening? That this was our guest in the last convention. The last convention, so he was there. That's live, yeah. And also, like what you hinted about Britain and their evil mission. Do you know that in the early 70s, Buhari, they passed the Archbishop of Canterbury, Archbishop Webb, was a personal friend of Buhari. You know what office he held then? What brought them together? When Buhari was the Minister of Petroleum, Archbishop Webb, I think he's still alive, but he just retired, was the Shell representative in Nigeria. Imagine. That was how he got too close and became personal friend of Buhari. So when you hear about $2 billion missing, in a portfolio, he was the mastermind, and till today, or till they both died, he was still seeing Buhari as his best friend. So why won't he be best friend to the man who he helped siphon $2 billion? Just as another Briton was the manager of P2B in his last scandal, this Cayman Island scandal, was also managed by Britain. That is why they hold him on his blockade. So please continue. I just want to point out that for Biafrans to know that the last speaker, if you can take him back, is our guest speaker in Lati convention. So
it's Mazoge Shukunkere that made it.
Yes. There's him personal. So
Ndewo Mazi. God bless you. Yes, we must continue to hit the nail on the head They know the truth, but all envy, anyofo, and the power drunk that is making them not to see who is doing the right thing. Don't you see that? Don't you see that the Mazi Ekwensu and the university, they were lamenting seriously that why is it that somebody that just came because he came and granted interview to Gentle, they made her everything. So power we hear her na-achọ. That was why immediately mere Maazị Ogechukwu Ogenkere, the substantial prime minister, iwe agbanye ha. I don't know ma ha nwa ka a ga-eme ya. Then you would have contested instead of scattering this. They are castigating, I don't know. Nena is saying that I don't know who was in within Nnamdi Kanu ages. Yet, ya je soro Ngozi nsi ha, okay, unu nwakwano. I don't know who si na BRGIE gbapụ na ebe Ngozi, si n'ebe Ngozi gbanata BRGIE, si n'ebe na BRGIE gbaba na CRC. Unu na ya wee na-erikọ na anwụkọ. So ugbu a ka unu mazi that for her to be with Ngozi, that it was wrong. All of them are the same thing because of power. They know who is doing the right thing. Man, no, that envy. I know for we hear with the problem. And not until we raise this and have one focus, pursue one goal, it will not be easy for us. Just like Mazi said, that when we come together and reason together, we will go far and stop dragging this clock backward. The world is hearing us. The matter is on the table. Okay? I don't know if I will play all these things or I will cut it. Next time we'll pick from
group
friend place and
we should see them as our greatest ally. These are people behind enemy lines that will stand up to the regime, that will stand up to the oppressors, because they overcome their fear with their interior faith. They will fight, even if it means their life, and often it does mean their life. The amount of Christian killing around the world is at an all-time high for Christendom.
Okay.
And that can be repeated. I could repeat that statement for a number of faiths now. Why? Why now? Why is this so much at this point in time? But that the community of faith has become the target of this dark alliance that we're facing off against, and China's the puppet master behind all of it. They have developed and invested billions of dollars in creating the most sophisticated surveillance technology mankind has ever known by far.
They try bringing you in,
and then they freely share it.
Please try again.
With other dictatorial regimes that are willing to use the same tools. And we should be deeply concerned about those issues, because that equipment then we're going to face in multiple sets of countries. And they're going to use that to maintain the dictatorships, the authoritarians that are standing against us.
Try to connect again.
The United States leadership and the Western leadership. This is unprecedented. It is really unprecedented, and it's a dark hour. The U.S. and other freedom-loving nations must rise to this challenge that we're facing today. And this is obviously far beyond any sort of partisan interest. We heard people in various countries represent and talk about this at our summit the last 2 days, and I could give you 100 different examples of every faith community that you would want to hear about of this. In a quick survey of some in the world, you'll see
Please try again.
Moscow. I mentioned China. You see Moscow is allied with Russian Orthodox Church leadership. I don't go with the Russian Orthodox membership, but the leadership working with it to persecute other faith traditions inside of Russia, and certainly in the occupied territories that they have of Ukraine. Vietnam is oppressing its Christian population and disfavored Buddhist communities, even though in a country like South Korea, We've seen out-of-favor Christian groups and the leader of the Unification Church have recently been jailed by the government. Japan has some similar limitations. Iran's Shia clerical hierarchy is persecuting harshly and lethally all other faiths, especially targeting Baha'is, Christians, and Jews in Iran, and even attacking Muslims of other schools of thought. In Pakistan, we see the Ahmadi Muslims are often violently attacked, as are Christians attacked there. Nicaragua, the chairwoman has mentioned and knows it very clearly, kicking out Catholic and evangelical clerics. And in a move reminiscent of the old Soviet days and the former Cold War that we're entering a new war, you cannot bring a Bible into Nicaragua now. Well, I thought that tactic had been left 30 years ago, but it's back. And they brought it back in Nicaragua. The new administration in Syria is purging religious minorities, threatening and killing them. These groups must be allowed to maintain their own security forces, or I guarantee you today a genocide will happen in Syria like happened in Iraq.
He said that they should be allowed to maintain their own security system. That is what we Biafrans are doing. And they know the implication of what we are doing. Because when our security system is tight, they cannot penetrate. That's why you see them bringing all kind of takia, accusing our military that they are the one buying people, they are the one kidnapping, they are the one stealing. Just imagine. Just imagine. All these things is to see how they can weaken them. Mind you that they fought seriously against the launching of the then ESN. So that is it. That's why America was asking Mazo Geshuku Nkere, do you have military? Do you have army? He said, yes. He said, okay. You are on the right path. The institution, the apparatus that are needed for this are being put in place. The entities are there. Okay? So the next thing that is left is to make sure that those institutions that are built in the mother institute, which is Biafra government in exile, are being watered so that they will be flourishing, so that they will be strong to mount security in our land, Biafra land. They see that military janjaweeds cannot come in. They hired Asare Dokubo, whom Nne Kashimezie have exonerated. Military came in uniform, buying people they are supposed to protect. But here he's telling you that it is right for the people to secure themselves since government cannot protect them.
Yazidis and Christians.
Please, the last caller should try again.
Important moment for Syria, for us.
So that maybe we'll know whether we will end it here.
Minority communities must be allowed to protect themselves, because if they don't, you will get a genocide will happen in Syria of these minority communities. Burma has seen increased Christian persecution along with the ongoing Rohingya genocide in that country. Early warning signs of a Muslim on Christian war are brewing across Africa. This one's going to be a big one, ladies and gentlemen, if we don't get out ahead of this. It's starting in that Lake Chad region, but it will spread throughout that continent. Nigeria is now the deadliest place on the planet to be a Christian. At the same time, the Nigerian government is seeking and receiving support from countries I previously named, China, Russia.
Nigeria is the worst place to live, and at the same time Nigeria is seeking for funds to help them from places like China, America. When they get this money, they will use it to sponsor terrorism. They will use it to sponsor terrorism. They will use it to pay Boko Haram to release the victims. Just imagine. You got intelligent that they are going to attack this school. Because when they want to take action, they tell them. And it was revealed, the man asked, hey, intelligence, they are working. And they mounted the school. Only for you to stay in the school within few minutes. You said you got an order to leave. And you left. Within 30 minutes, you left. Helicopter came and took about 2 hours to adopt about 200 and something students, including teachers. I think it's one of the ladies that were talking, they said that she was a teacher. The lady that we played here that spoke. One of the victims, a teacher. They adopted teachers and students. Some families, all of the children that are in the school. Up till today, Nigeria has not been able to tell you who gave the order. Nigerian government has not been able to say that the order came from this. Who gave the order? Who gave the order? There is Minister of Defense. There is Chief of Security Chiefs. There is Chief of Defense. Who gave the order? Nobody. Yet they are seeking for funds to be paying terrorists. Is it not a joke?
Turkey and Saudi Arabia. I wonder why. In India, communal violence against Christian and Muslim communities is increasingly commonplace. Many other cases of persecution exist as well. North Korea has no religious freedom at all. None. The same is true of Eritrea and Afghanistan, where a number of people fled after the Taliban came back into power. Saudi Arabia continues to be the only country on the planet without a single church, an ally of ours. Religious persecution is actually
some people were arguing that there is church in Saudi Arabia. Say that Saudi Arabia really the only country without a single church. Have you seen it? When everybody's supposed to worship his or her gods.
Of a closing world, a new iron curtain against faith, drawn not just against nations, but against conscience itself. Its antidote is religious freedom, a medicine we must insist upon before it's too late. Religious persecution is not an isolated human rights concern. It is a warning sign that freedom itself is under siege. When regimes crush faith, they are rehearsing the suppression of every other liberty that follows. History teaches us that appeasing these repressions does not bring stability. Instead, it invites greater aggression and deeper violence. We know this. On the other hand, religious freedom is a stabilizing force, a catalyst for civil society, and a foundation for lasting peace. Mr. Chairman, Madam Chairman, ranking members, the United States has both a moral authority and strategic interest. And I really want to drive that point because this is actually a very strategic issue we must embrace, and we might need to lead on this issue. We must insist on religious freedom consistently, unapologetically, and urgently before the space for belief and dissent and human dignity closes further for everybody, and before the cost of inaction becomes far greater than the cost of leadership. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ambassador. Grace Jin Drexel, the floor is yours.
I don't know. I think we should
Thank
end
you so
this
much,
program
Congressman
from
and
here.
woman, for this opportunity to testify and share my story.
And then
my name is Grace
next
Jin
time we
Drexel, and on
continue.
October 10th, 2025, my father, Pastor Ezra Jin, was arrested by the Chinese authorities along with...
Next time we continue from here to buttress this. I think that's what we have to do for now because we have really taken it a day. This is where called space kind of, and the space is on now. Somebody tried to come in after Mazi, okay, and I tried to bring the person in, Yakob. So since the person is not coming back, I think I am going to call it a day from here. It is really sympathetic of what is happening, and it is a big win for us because we are consistent and resolute, and we must continue to move. No going back, no retreat, no surrender, because Biafra is here. Just like somebody said that Britain is scared. They are scared of Biafra. They are scared of Biafrans. And whether they are scared or not, we must exist. We must live. Our dignity, our values must be restored so that we not keep scattering. Even though you traveled, you will know that you have a home. Anytime you want to go home, you go home. You go home without any fear. That is what it's supposed to be. That's what it should be. Okay? So I thank everyone who has made it today. I thank you all. I cannot call the names. I cannot call the names. You have really showed love. You have been wonderful from the beginning up to this very time. Chukwuma, the last message you sent to me, you sent it and I responded. I called Mama Betty. She said she's still waiting for them. I think I will still have to call her because it's like she too is even forgetting. So I have to remind her again to keep shaking because I don't know why they should spend this long time. Okay. So I am very grateful for what is happening, and I'm still grateful for the last person that I spoke with last night, how the conversation ended. I was very glad, and I thank God that him too was very glad. And I pray that you keep shaking on. Let's keep moving. Let's keep speaking the truth. Let's keep supporting the government. Okay, tomorrow is fundraising. All right? Biko nunu. Anaghị eme ya n'ike. If you have, do not keep it backward. Ma gị enweghị is acceptable. Is understood. Okay? Some people have that mind, have the willing to give, but ya wrote yes already. But you that have, please try and come and support. Support, support, support. Because for our land to be secured, they need a gemma. All right? Tomorrow. And don't forget about 4th of this month, our day with Mike Robbins. All right? And before I forget, my brother Wisdom, I sent a message. I responded to your chat here, and you've not said anything. Wisdom, so I responded. So I said, is it a private or would it be here? And you never responded, so that I would have known how to communicate with you, because after here, you will not hear from me now, not unless we are live. So you never responded from my response to your message. So I don't really know. Okay. Abi ndewo. you are still here. God bless you for being here up till now. So thank you. God bless you. Rinne. We are moving. We are unstoppable. I love you all. I love you all. I love you all. Long life to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Long life to Mazi Simon Ekpa. Long life to Mazi Ogechukwu Nkere. Long life to BRGIE cabinet. Long life to all the media personnel. Long life to Biafrans who are standing strong, standing tall, doing the needful. You are wonderful. You are wonderful. Biafrans, without you, we go nowhere. But because you are on the right track, we are moving. Keep standing on the truth, because Biafra government in exile is moving forward. Our voice is being heard. Our matters are being discussed. I would have brought Tinubu's the news of Tinubu, but it is a discussion to another day. Tinubu faces global sanctions over Christians killing, plotting to rig 2027 election US. This is NN News Media. NN News Media. Okay? Tinubu faces global sanctions over Christians killing, plotting to rig 2027 election. This is a news from US media, so we cannot go further. It will be another day program. God permits, if we come tomorrow before the fundraising, we will do that. Otherwise, it will be for another day, but I hope that will come tomorrow. Thank you all. God bless you for joining. Long life to every one of us, and happy new month once again. Ndewonu.